guys, fam, and welcome to our second edition of 30 for 430. I'm here with Randie Dial and Marshall Morris, and I am super pumped for this conversation. So let's get around to it. You'll find out what that means in a few minutes.
Well, hi guys, I'm Randie Dial with CLA. We are so honored again and privileged to be the impact sponsor of the month for this 430 meetup. And I'll come back and talk a little bit about who we are in a little bit later. I want the focus to go to the highlight of the evening. And so I'm going to hand it off to the esteemed guest here and have you introduce yourself and the impact that you're having on individuals with your mission.
Thank you. I'm Marshall Morris, founder of Defiantly. We are a charity that helps anybody with a terminal illness. We want to make sure that they are getting the counseling that they need, their family counseling, their end-of-life counseling, survivor bereavement counseling that's so needed afterwards. And if they need help with resources of finding legal help, life insurances, things of that nature that need to be taken care of before they go, that's what we do, and we truly want to give back before I go, and then some things are already in place to make sure that it lives on long beyond me. So I'm excited about this 430 meetup, because it's an opportunity to celebrate life. So many of us live in the day-to-day minutia of what's going on that we never take a moment to say, stop worrying about or stop stressing about the day-to-day stuff that's happening. And this 430 for me, it's all about a celebration of life for everyone that comes in there. For 2 hours, I want them just to stop worrying about anything. If they had 2 hours and this is the only people they could spend time with for the next 2 hours and they were going to die in 2 hours, what would they do? Would they love everyone they met? Would they forgive anyone that ever hurt them? Or would they live like they were dying? And that's exactly what I want.
I think those are great comments, and that epitomizes what Synergize is all about. This is not about come with a couple buddies and stand in the corner. This is about hearing everybody's story that you can, and these are the things you'll hear as you're there that night. And so, Marshall, maybe tell everyone why this is a passion for you. Let's get personal for a minute.
Okay.
Why did this happen?
Well, obviously last year I was diagnosed with a stage 4 inoperable, incurable cholangiocarcinoma, which is bile duct cancer, which is, if you don't know what a bile duct is, that's the plumbing inside your liver. So without it, you don't live, and so I was like, I've always been healthy, never had a sick day in my entire life, never broke a bone. I was thinking I was kind of superhuman. And sometimes God has a funny way of just letting you know that you're not, and that He has another mission for you. So in a matter of minutes, basically, with a liver specialist, I was told I had cancer, and I was like, okay, what are we going to do? Because I truly believe that everything, positive or negative, is, that happens in our life, it's really truly a choice, right? We choose how we're going to let that affect us, right? Is it going to be a positive influence, or is it going to be a negative influence? And I chose to make mine going to be a positive, and I wanted to do something to give back before I left this planet. I wanted to make sure that I touched a lot of people. And God gave me this wonderful grace because I haven't had one sad day. Not one sad day, not one day where I said, oh, woe is me, this is miserable. We all have days when, just things just suck, right? But I was just like, but it's never a bad day. It's like, okay, learning experience, we don't do that again, we don't do this again, But I look at it, everything is a positive. I choose to never let something get me down, no matter how bad it is. And that's how I've handled the sickness. And to me, I want people to share in this opportunity because so many of us, we worry about things that are, for most of us, like right now, oh, I'm losing hair. Okay, right. Well, is that really a big deal, right?
Are you picking on me?
No, I wasn't going there, but because I lost mine from the chemo early on, and having been a vain person all my life, you tend to go, oh my gosh, that's a big deal, but really, is it truly a big deal? Right. And I wanted to make sure that people didn't just give up and sit on a couch. That the people that have a terminal diagnosis, you don't have to stop living. It's just, you might change the way you live a little bit, but you don't stop living your life. And I tell the doctors and I tell everyone, I'm going to live until I die, whenever that time is.
I think that is, for those listening to this video or planning to come to the 430, you're going to hear this in person. You need to come and support this cause, but to have someone get such devastating news, right? Terrible news, and to be as happy and passionate as you are sitting here today and wanting to finish strong, it's unbelievable sitting here just kind of listening to this. And so hopefully everybody really is hearing this message and how this gentleman is going to finish strong, and he's just doing everything he can to give back while he can. I also wanted to mention this whole Tuit. So maybe talk a little bit about what you're going to do that night, or what people can expect, and what is this Tuit concept?
So to me, I'm truly a person of action, right? We always say we're going to do something when I get around to it. And, like, we're busy, we're doing things right now. There's a bag right there in the corner. And so...
It's a better toss, I think.
I've got one.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
So, you got around to it.
Yeah. So what the whole idea is that so many of us say we're going to do something when we get around to it.
Yep.
But we never do get around to it. Well, that night, everybody will be gifted from my charity to them that comes around to it. So they can never say they don't have around to it anymore.
Around
So when I get around to it, I have one. So everything that you're putting off that night, you can take action on. And my goal is to, if we just impact a few people, to go out and do the things they need to. One of the things that I realized in my own self is everything wasn't ready, right? My family, though I had some life insurance set up and I had some other things, everything wasn't in order. And, I start to realize, I talked to a friend in December, 46 years old, in the car business, because that's where I come from a little bit. And we're just chatting. He's like, Marshall, he says, I got to get my stuff in order for my family. I'm like, brother,
Yep.
I'm telling you, you do. And in March, he had a fatal heart attack.
Wow.
Died instantly, nothing set up. And, not even, he had a little $25,000 life insurance policy through his company, and that was it. And, which, barely buries you these days. And so,
And I was just going to say, because you hit on it, speaking of funding and life insurance, let everyone know how important these events are to help you with your mission. We talked before, right? There really is no funding. This is an opportunity for all the people watching this video to get out here and help this cause.
Everybody thinks just because you're a charity, right? And we are truly a 501c3. And yes, tax deductible and all that good stuff. But everybody thinks there's all this money for these charities out here. And unless you're a big name charity, right. St. Jude's, the big ones, I don't even take anything. I don't want anything. I want the mission to be the focus, not, what can I get from the charity? And so many people don't realize that I've been funding this from the get-go, a few charitable donations, but, without that help, we can only be so big. We can only help so many people. To expand more counseling, to do more, we need funding.
Yep.
And that's really an important thing. But I didn't want people to come to a 430 meetup and not get a gift.
Absolutely.
From the charity. And then to me, this is a moment to take something back, to remember a moment in time when somebody challenged you to take action.
Yep.
Right? And whatever it is in your life. The biggest thing that we do to ourselves, and this is anybody, is we lie to ourselves. We lie about, like, oh, it's not as bad as it really is. Or I'm just going to wait for a little bit longer. We lie that, oh, it's going to get better. Things don't get better. Right? Especially when you're sick, it's probably going to get worse. So act when you can.
Absolutely.
When you feel good, do it.
Yep.
Right? And if you're thinking about something and it's something that's important to you, do that. If you haven't made amends to a loved one, a family member, a friend, because you had a falling out, now is the time.
Absolutely.
Don't wait until you don't have that opportunity.
Yep.
Because we all think we're going to do it, but we never get around to it.
And that's a great way to signal a great call to action. Come around, get to it, get round to it, show up, 4:30 meetup, August 23rd, and come support this awesome mission. We need everybody's help at this one, so come on, come support.
Talk about yourself for a minute, Randie, and your organization, and why, once again, they're seeing your face on this video.
Yeah, so guys, I've been part of Synergize from the beginning. It's a mission that I believe just is crucial. You just heard why it's crucial to these nonprofits that just have great causes. No matter which one, they all have great causes, and they just need help. So funding is a big piece of this, right? The other big piece is just coming and loving and leaning on each other. We all need that more than ever after a pandemic, especially. And so when you come to Synergize, you don't just come with buddies, I'll say it again, and don't hang out in the corner, right? Get around the room, go share your story, go hear a story. Someone in that room is hurting, right? Someone is hurting and just needs to talk to someone. And the more you get out and spread your wings, it just helps us as human beings love on each other and just get better at caring and just being genuine ourselves. So don't be a jerk. You've heard that term. Come to Synergize. CLA is all in. I've loved this from the beginning, and I'll be here till the end.
Any other words you've got on your heart, Marshall, or if this video was the last 15 minutes you had of your life and you're not going to see them at the meetup, what would you tell people? Or
I would challenge everybody, if you have the opportunity, this is not the regular 4:30 meetup. This is something different. This is truly a celebration of not only, your life, right? The people that are looking at this video, it's a celebration of everyone's life that's part of Synergize and the people that come into us. I want people to realize that life is a gift, right? We're not granted, we're not promised tomorrow. So today, that opportunity, that 4:30, this is an opportunity to come into a situation, hear some music, play with some Mardi Gras beads, get a small gift to take home from the charity that's actually asking you to give, right? We don't expect somebody to give without giving back, right? I truly believe that a charity is always meant to give. So how rude would I be not to give something back to somebody that just came and heard my story for just a few minutes, right? Because a charity isn't about me. It's about the mission. It's about the other people that I touch every day. I've had the wonderful opportunity to counsel some people that they didn't want a counselor. They wanted to talk to me because I'm going through the same stuff they are. And I tell them, like, look, I'm not a counselor, but I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's going on with me. And they're like, how do you do that? Like, how do you keep such a positive outlook? And I'm like, you know what? God's given me this amazing grace, right? This amazing strength to handle this. And me, I'm like, look, I don't care what you believe in. I'm not going to press God on you. I'm not going to press my Lord onto you. I'm going to tell you this, just believe in something bigger than yourself. And if you get a terminal illness, a diagnosis, you're going to start talking about God.
Yep.
You're going to start asking God for help because you're going to be like, why me? Right? Well, I didn't even ask God why me. I realized long ago that God put free will into this world, right? And I lost a son at 6 months old. And, probably the toughest time I've ever gone through. And I don't wish that on anybody, but it took me 2 years to come back from it. I call it my Lieutenant Dan stage, okay? And, from Forrest Gump, anybody, if you're wondering who Lieutenant Dan is, some of the younger guys. But it was really challenging God. Why? Why take a 6-month-old little boy? He hasn't sinned yet. He hasn't done anything in this world. And one day, I just woke up and I realized that's what free will is. It was God answering my question. And so when I got this diagnosis, it was like, I already knew the answer, right? Yeah. It's just free will. It happens. It's the roulette wheel. The ball just came up on my number. And you know what? I'll stay here as long as it takes, as long as God will have me here, and then I'll go home. And, dying's pretty easy when you know where you're going, because if you choose to believe that there's just emptiness, death can be fearful. It make you be scared.
Well, it's a great message, man. Appreciate you standing strong.
Appreciate that.
Thank you guys
You're welcome.
for an awesome show.
Thank y'all for
And-
tuning in, and yes, I will hug the crap out of this thing. And this one. Oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh. Maybe
I love you.
some editing.
We're getting around to it.
Round to it. Woo! All right, we will see y'all at the 4:30 meetup.
If you
Get
get
your
around
round to
to
it.
it.
You better get around to it.